All right. Well, hey, welcome back to the Go for CEO channel where we bring you CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs all around the world. And, this is pretty exciting because once again, as I've done many, many times on this show, and I know that you've valued it, is we pluck an all-star out of the Clubhouse side of things. You guys know that platform. I have been so encouraged because of the relationships I've been able to build, and this gentleman is nothing, less than spectacular because of just, the background that he has. We're kind of in similar industries, so we really relate. He's a great, genuine person and a phenomenal leader, been in business for 20 plus years. So super excited for you, Go for CEO community, to get to learn from the man, Kyle Griffith. He's actually a managing partner with NYBB Group, also the commercial real estate division. And then he founded a company which is really revolutionizing the way that people kind of go to market for M&A. So, and it's actually called M&A with a different twist in spelling. So, Kyle, welcome to the Go for CEO channel.
Hey, what's happening, John? I'm so excited to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to chat, and we have connected. What's been over a year now, I think it is.
Yeah, just about a year.
We just gelled, man. Sometimes you meet someone and you get a good vibe and you get a good impression. And I definitely appreciate all the great work you're doing. You're an exceptional entrepreneur, and I've been following you all along and learning and connecting. And especially the platform you have here for Go for CEO is all about providing value, giving back, and educating small business owners. So, hey, I'm humbled, and I appreciate the opportunity to connect and share with your audience.
Awesome, brother. Well, hey, super excited to have you. And look, I mean, obviously, one of the things that the Go for CEO community has really enjoyed is it's SMEs, right? Small to medium-sized enterprises. It's founders, it's entrepreneurs, it's people like yourself that even on the NYBB group, you kind of led into the leadership side. So why don't you give us a little bit of a taste of Kyle Griffith, the person, the man, right? And then some of the ideas that came about, because I think we always enjoy hearing like, what was that moment, or what was that maybe that scenario that got you into that entrepreneur side? So take it away.
Hey, John, you only got 40 minutes, right? So do you want the Cliff Note version, or do you want the Cliff Note of the Cliff Note version?
How about the Cliff Note? And then I do have some other questions, so we want to allow for some questions. Yeah.
So what clicked for me, man? So I've always been entrepreneurial. I've always been business minded from the days selling lemonade and selling books for my church. I'm from the island of Trinidad. It's a tiny island that's known for natural gases and oil. My dad was in the oil business, and my mom was in fashion. So from a young age, I was always been entrepreneurial. Came to the US, wanted to blaze my own pathway, and learned the hard way that you need to have some good people around you and some good resources. But I'll tell you this much, sometimes you need to learn and get some bruises and bumps and bruises along the way. And that's kind of what happened. But from a very young age, I've always wanted to be in small business, and I'm just excited to helping people in their journeys as well.
That's fantastic. So really the relationship with what you grew up in, the environment, obviously your parents, you just mentioned with a big heartfelt scenario. So what was maybe one thing that you picked up that was pretty clear that your dad had on the business side?
So on the business side, I think one thing is, financial freedom, be able to, you kind of get what you put in, so to speak. So if you provide this much value to the marketplace, you get that much return and more, as opposed to having a set salary. So I like that unlimited income potential, and having more control of your destiny and more control of your financial freedom. So where my dad was very good with numbers, very thrifty, on the other end, my mom was more of a risk taker. And, she was more, how to put it, she was more frivolous when it comes to making investments and spending. So I got a little bit from both. So my dad is more conservative. My mom is a more, how to put it, with the fun. So I think for me personally, as a business owner, you have to be able to take some risk if you want to grow. The mattress money, the scared money doesn't work. So, I took a lot of risks along the way, and now I'm at the stage where I more manage that process more and make sure that I'm not as crazy as I used to be. But I've learned the hard way that you need to plan things out first before you just jump into different business situations.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you attribute your background, your growing up with your parents, seeing them as the kind of the example of it, right? When you get to the United States, what are some things that you did to start to prepare? Was it more education, quote unquote? Was it being mentored? What are some ways that you get to the point where you now are obviously a managing partner and the founder of M&A Network?
So it's a little bit of everything. So I went to Brooklyn College, and my major initially was accounting, and I slowly switched that to business finance.
Mhm.
At a certain point in my tenure at college, I realized that I want to be in business management, running companies. I did get mentored along the way. I had a couple millionaires that I did mentor with, and seeing the success that's available. When it's so spectacular, man. Sometimes you have to see it to believe it. There's a lot of scriptures that tell you have to have faith and belief. So faith and belief is very important. But when I saw what was possible with my own eyes, that kind of opened things up for me that, hey, I definitely need to be in business and have some more control of my destiny.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it made me think, and instantly, I remember the first time I saw someone's bank account that was successful,
Yeah.
and the multiple zeros with commas in it, and I was like, I've never seen that before. Typically, growing up, at best was five figures. But when I saw that multi commas in a bank account, I was like, wow, man, I agree
Right.
with you. There certainly is that mix of faith, belief, and proof in the pudding, right? So, all
Yes.
right, so
Yes.
let's get into the minutia, because I know people are wondering, like, well, okay, NYBB, I'm going to go Google that. Obviously, you're going to share some ways to communicate with you and your team, at the end of the interview here. But tell me a little bit about NYBB and your journey with them, and what is it? What did you start to develop as far as a business prowess? How did you mix in some of those things? And then we'll go into like what you've done to scale it and grow it and those types of things.
So the NYBB now is not NYBB that we had 19 years ago when the company was first founded. Just parlayed into our previous conversation. So when I saw the success that these colleagues were having, I wanted to have that similar success. And I've either started or partnered in different businesses, and some worked out, some didn't. A colleague of mine told me about business brokerage and said, Kyle, this field would be perfect for you. And when he told me about business brokerage, in my mind, I was thinking, wow, I'm going to get a chance to sit down and interview like how you're doing now, right? Interviewing me. I'll get a chance to meet all of these successful business owners, learn how they have grown their business, how they've built their business, how they've valued their business, how they've sold their business, and so on. Get to learn what they did so I can implement it in my own business. I also wanted to learn from their mistakes, because a lot of times you can learn more from the mistakes of others as opposed to the successes, right? So that was my parlay into the business. However, I got really fired up about it. I get really fired up in working, helping people buy companies, help people sell companies. And I was looking for a company that I could, hang my hat with. And I interviewed 3 companies. And at that time, I connected with the NYBB group. And I mean, it's history, we have grown a lot since when I first started with the firm. When we first started, we were selling Main Street companies. When you say Main Street, smaller mom and pop, restaurants and smaller businesses.
Mhm.
And we decided that in order to scale the business, we have to be in a marketplace that you can create, you can actually predict who your clients are going to be. Give you an example. If you're selling a restaurant, to find a buyer for that restaurant, you cannot go out and handpick who that prospective buyer is going to be, right? If you're selling an HVAC company, you can essentially find other HVAC companies or other folks in that space that are licensed or in the plumbing, electrical, or especially trade space that would be a good fit for that industry. So we wanted to service different verticals that way we can have a quicker ramp up and work in sectors that we can create multiple sales and so on. So we have grown from mid-business brokerage. Now we are a full service mergers and acquisition firm, and our clients' revenues are 5 million and up. Work at companies 500,000 EBITDA and up. We still help some smaller companies at times, but our sweet spot is, I would say that the small to mid-market space. So we have 10 M&A advisors. We are all certified intermediaries. We are all licensed as well. We do own a commercial real estate company. A lot of our deals do include commercial real estate. So when we sit down with a client, we can help them maximize both the sale of their business and their property. That wasn't always the case. And then we have consultants that we bring on to help if we need any other additional, industry experts in certain fields. So a lot has changed since then. We also now helping folks with their exit planning. If you're looking to sell 5-10 years on, we can help them get prepped for a sale in the future. So a lot has changed, since we first started.
I love it. I love it. Well, the part I think that I'd love to go a little bit deeper on is, you had the background of your parents, you came to the States, you kind of tried and juggled different things. Some worked, some didn't. You find mentors that you said, like these millionaires, they gave you the proof in the pudding. You're suggested an industry that you would be good at. And then you jump into it. So was it a entrepreneurial side, or how did NYBB, how was the structure so that people can understand that you came in maybe as a salesperson, but then eventually worked yourself up to a managing partner? Like, give us a little bit of that story.
So when I fell in love with business brokerage, I just dived right in. So when I joined NYBB, I joined as a contractor, 1099, similar to the real estate industry. When you join with any of these real estate companies, you on as a 1099 subcontract, as a contractor, independent contractor. That's how I joined. But I just entrenched myself in it. I wanted to learn so much about it. So I joined the local association. I joined the international association. And I just, I'm always learning. I'm like a sponge, feed information. I want to learn from folks who was successful in the business. So I went to the International Business Brokers Association. There I joined one of the committees, and then I started getting nominated for positions there. They nominated me to be a chair of one of the committees. Then I became the chair. Then I was nominated to become a board member. So I'm currently on the board for the International Business Brokers Association. And then I was recently nominated to be the chair of the association. So starting next year, I'll be the chair of that association. So apart from the IBBA, I'm also on the New York Association board, and I have some other leadership positions in the industry as well. So I just got really entrenched. I wanted to learn. But when I joined NYBB, I put everything else on hold. Our family at the time, in 2005, we purchased a UPS franchise. So we still had that operational, but everything else, all my other business interests was completely on hold. And then I was getting the itch to get back into entrepreneurship again. And I don't know if it was, how the world works, I didn't mention this to anyone, not even my wife. I didn't talk to anyone, but then I got a call from one of the owners at NYBB and asked me if I have an interest in purchasing the company and becoming buying into the company and become a partner. So that's what I did.
Interesting.
That's what we actually had had a phenomenal year that year, and actually was going to make some other investments. And I decided, let's do this. So we restructured the company. Myself and another gentleman who was working with us, we came and we bought the company, we restructured it. So even though we started back in 2003, I like to say the last 4 years has been a complete turnaround where we have been scaling the company. And so last year was a big year for us. And this year we're looking to triple our numbers from last year. So we are in that, growth mode.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
When you say structure, just for learning purposes, what were some of the things that structurally you did differently under your leadership?
Well, we gutted the entire company. We first of all, we restructured the company as far as from a legal perspective. We looked at all of our processes, our systems, how we do things. We changed our systems, our technology. We changed our marketing material. We changed personnel. We brought in some new staff, and we brought in some new advisors. So from the beginning stages, from our blueprint was modified. So we were dabbling between business brokerage and M&A. So we just decided we're going to go straight mid to lower to mid market. That's our focus, as opposed to being all over the place. And then you wanted to build a very strong team that can support those initiatives. And then we hired a coach. As many of you business owners that are listening, if you have multiple parts of a company, sometimes it's hard to get 3 cats going the one direction. So we want to take our growth very seriously. So we brought someone in to help further develop our processes and our systems, making sure we have the right people, we want to move in the right direction, build out our core values, our mission, establishing KPIs for the company, establishing markets we want to service, and then establishing our growth strategy. So this is what our plans for this year, what's our plan for next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and so on. So we just started building out a 10-year business plan for the company. So that was over almost a 4-year process now.
So it really sounds like, man, you got deep, right? And you became involved in the industry. Then you found success because of your work ethic and because of the connections and the sales, obviously, you generate on stuff. All of a sudden you get a random call that maybe you didn't expect, but you already had in your mind some things that you were like, man, I need to, do some things, right? Entrepreneurial. I'm in an entrepreneurial kind of scenario, but I don't know if I want to go out on my own. Then you get an internal call. But it's interesting. You actually then broke it all down and kind of rebuilt everything to the liking that you had. So tell us a little bit about the partnership side. So was it pretty easy to know that other gentleman that you partnered with to take over NYBB, that you guys were you were compatible, you knew everything that you wanted to do?
Well, we were both in the company already.
Okay.
We were both, so I've known him for a long time. We work well together. We complement each other. He's MBA financial, former Morgan Stanley guy. So we complement each other. We complement each other very well. So we knew each other. So it wasn't someone from the outside that came in. So the 2 owners for the company saw us as the next leaders, owners, so to speak, to take the company over, so to speak. One owner has since retired, so we have bought him out, and now there's 3 of us right now that own the company.
I love it. Yeah, and it's an interesting scenario.
But we make a point though. So many of you that can actually relate that when you're in a family business, the members or the employees that don't have ownership, sometimes you don't have that much say in things. So previously, when I was a contractor, I'll have a lot of ideas as far as what we can do to build a company. And, they were always receptive of it. But as far as taking action, sometimes that take time. But now as an owner, we can actually implement a lot of the ideas that we had. And, so as a visionary for the company, I'm always full of ideas of how we can grow and do things. So that's the major difference. Back then we were okay doing what we were. Now we are looking to grow the company exponentially.
So you bring up a phenomenal point, knowing a little bit about your world. You actually consult your clients when they're going to buy a company, what kind of value add they can bring to the table. Like, what is it that you're going to do to improve, not just based on financials, but like, what are the ideas that this industry needs to go to the next level, right? So that's kind of what you did internally. So give us 1 or 2 of the things that I know that you said you kind of rebuilt the structure, you look to find talent. So take it wherever you want, but I'd love to hear, so for the community, what is it that you tweaked and how did you see that change and how did you do it?
this could be a long conversation because it's it's a lot of tweaks.
Yeah.
So let's just talk personnel. Let's just talk, forget the
Okay.
numbers. Okay, let's talk personnel. We needed to have some more clarity. We need to have more of a streamlined process. So we had great people. We always had phenomenal people working for us, but we needed to have a great back end. So when you bring in the business, the client is well taken care of. Part of that is making sure that everyone is on the same page and they complement each other. You have employees, each has different mentalities and they have different skill sets. So you need to find members that can cover the blind spots and fill the gaps. So you may have someone that's very detailed and more of a quality control person that makes sure that nothing passes, nothing gets out of here that unless it's complete. You may have someone that goes out, contacts the clients, they engage with them and having that great relationship and connection with them, having them all warm and fuzzy and cool. And you have another person in the team that's more of the nurturer and like the glue for everyone and so on. So we've been building a workforce that is that works well together and serves each one of our purposes. We wanted to make sure that we're not boggled down in the weeds and in the details. So one of the changes we have made some tweaks in our team, and we have someone that actually does what we call, a client engagement. They're a deal engagement manager. So they manage all the clients and make sure that they're well taken care of and everything is moving smoothly. We have someone in the back end that very extremely detailed. Nothing gets past her. So she covers everything from a quality control. And we have another office support staff that works on our systems, our processes and everything. So from a personal standpoint, we want to make sure that we bring people in that not only know the job, like the job, and they know what our vision is and our core focuses are, so we can all be rowing this in the same direction. So that's one thing from a personal standpoint. From a number standpoint, we're just kind of understanding what numbers we need to hit on a weekly basis. So we have weekly check-ins. So we have meetings every week and we have different KPIs that we track. And if any one of those KPIs are off track, we have a serious discussion about that, how we can fix that. So it's right away we can implement it. We know our numbers, what we need to hit. We can pull reports. That's one thing. And then the other aspect is getting feedback from clients as well. Getting feedback and having us understand what their impression is of us, so we can make better on next time around. I think getting feedback from your customers and your clients is very important. Top of my head, those are the three I can think of, but there are many others. We just moved into a new office space, so getting employee morale up in a bigger office where folks can do more and have more light coming in and so on. So but those are the main things. But most importantly, having the right people. I think with any business, you want to make sure that you have the right personnel that are committed. If you stop making money next week, they're not going to try looking for a job. That they're so loyal, they believe in the mission of the company, that they will stick around until things get back in the order and get up and up. Because as a business, your numbers are going to fluctuate. It's not always going to be skyrocketing, but yeah, those are the three main things.
I love it. I mean, I think you went deep into the insights of what you were already thinking before you got the offer extended to you, right? So it's interesting that it took you to then take that leap of faith to become a managing partner, to invest not only what you had already done, which was what your time was, but some work ethic, some sweat equity, and then some real equity to make changes. It sounds like too that you made the changes that were needed for this organization to truly grow, right? Or else it would have stayed kind of stagnant in the same way that you had already been operating for a long time. Is that fair to say?
Hey, John, I'm gonna say this is a team effort. So I'm very blessed. I'm thankful to have phenomenal partners. My partners, Lou and Anthony. I mean, I'm thankful every day to have two, awesome. I can have any better partners. Our staff and employees are phenomenal. We have awesome advisors on our team that are very humble. They don't talk about their achievements. They're very humble. So when I got into this, I first got it, I didn't really know what to expect. I just know I had ideas because of my involvement with the Brokers Association. Like I saw what was possible. I saw the success that was possible. And sometimes what works for other people doesn't always work for you or for us, right? So we have to figure out how we can tweak our process, to make it better. One thing that we did do, we joined a peer group mastermind. So we are part of a larger company called Cornerstone International, and we meet the principals, we meet monthly, and then the staff. So our admin staff and the admin staff of all the companies meet monthly, and then the valuation teams meet monthly as well. And we talk about best practices, what works for each one of the firms. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to take all the credit because this is more of a collective effort from all of my team members, all our affiliates, and we just help make each other better. But yeah, it has been a great ride, and but this is just the beginning, man. We just now we just now getting started,
No, I love it, and I understand, and I think the community here, as they're listening to you, gets what you're saying, because truly, yeah, I mean, you don't get to where you've been without the foundation that was started with the original founders, right? Then
Yeah.
they bring you in with the other gentleman that's a partner of yours from Merrill and or Morgan Stanley, sorry, and then that vibe creates that momentum that just takes it to the next level together, right? So awesome stuff. So give us a little insight, tweaking some things for you personnel wise. I'd love to go deeper on recruitment. How did you start to look at that? Like what were maybe some of the descriptions that you were looking for? And then as you went through that process and started initiating conversations or interviewing people, what were some things that came up to light and said to yourself, okay, this will work well with Joe or Sally or whoever?
So when you think of recruiting, we have two levels of recruitment. One is recruitment for mergers and acquisition advisors. So essentially the salespeople, right, that are going to work with the clients and work the deals. There's also the staff recruitment. So let's talk about the advisors firsthand. We have included software into our processes. So before we'd be like, someone wants to join our firm, we sit down with them, tell them what we do, we learn about them. We don't do that anymore. They have to do 2 assessments. So they do one assessment first. If they pass that assessment, we provide them with another assessment. So we use a software called Predictive Index. So I'm sure you've interviewed a ton of people. Sometimes what's in their resume and what they say doesn't really match, right? I can remember a month back, I had this really sharp guy that we would have hired. I mean, he was saying all the right things, but I'm looking at his predictive index. Like you are an underwriter, right? You are an analyst. You are someone that's going to be in a room crunching numbers, which is fine. That's okay. We can still utilize your skills. But what I'm looking for hunters. I'm looking for people who can go out and speak and engage with clients, learn from them, learn how we can help them, and so on. But on the interview, John, he said all the right things. He said, that's what I do. I can do all that stuff. So part of our process is they interview with each one of the partners. So on one side, I'll say, this might be a good guy, but I wasn't so sure about it. So my partner did the second interview and so on. So part of it is just utilizing some technology into our interviewing process. And also what we do now, we hire more for passion, and we hire more for core values. They have to fit into our culture and our team here, and then everything kind of falls into play after that. Everyone has to get so once they're hired, they go out, they have to go take the classes, they get certified, they have to go get their real estate license and all of that, like all that stuff you can learn. But passion and joy and enthusiasm for you, and just being excited for what you do, you can't really teach that stuff. So that's what we hire for. And for the staff, similar process. They do the same assessments. Similar conversation. We just hiring for for different roles.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I will say it's interesting to kind of have now an upfront, I guess, filter per se, right? With the software and the things that can give you some predictive scenarios. But would you still say it's gut? Is there a gut feeling that, this guy or gal sitting in front of you, and maybe they don't match the actual filter part, but now that you've talked to them, it allows you to say, okay, I'll add this component of gut? Or would you say, hey, you become really a bit more analytical than gut on that side?
So you can be analytical and still be a great fit.
Mm,
But yes, there's always gut, there's always intuition,
mhm,
but think about when you're hiring an employee, you're making a major investment. You can
mhm,
spend, if that salary for the employee is 100 grand, you can make a hire that can cost you not even 100 grand. It can cost you 100 grand for that role that you spent. Also the loss of opportunity and the training time and efforts. Everyone, because I do all the training for the
mm,
advisors. So I'm going to take time away from clients to train someone, time away from deal making to train someone. So you have to factor in all of that. So I love the idea of hiring slow and firing fast,
yeah.
right? So we want to make sure whoever comes on board is it's a good fit. But yeah, I mean, you have to go with your gut, have to go with your intuition. But I use that as more as a final, we have they take the assessments, they go through the interviews. So you have the data, and then the,
Mhm.
the gut the gut is just another aspect, another metric that completes the hiring decision. And then it has to fit on the team as well. We have an awesome team here, so they have to you know be on the right same page everyone else.
Mesh in, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So let's end up, there's one little area that, people love to talk about, which is marketing. So I'd love to hear some of the things that you've been able to see from your beginning parts to when you became a partner to then, obviously, the marketing that you guys deploy, either from an internal perspective of a development officer or just the company itself and how you market. So why don't we spend a few minutes on that? And then at the end, what we typically talk to our client or to our interviewees is, C is for client experience, which you kind of touched on, which I love, employee engagement or just engagement in general, and then operational excellence. So, but let's go into marketing. What have you decided over the last few years and the team that is really a marketing effort that you guys do?
Yeah. So I think the key thing, you want to be an expert in a niche. So when we
Mm,
first started, we were more general. So now we are more vertical focused. So we have a healthcare vertical. We have logistics vertical. We have a what do you call specialty trades, which is HVAC, plumbing, electrical. So we have established these particular verticals. We can go out with a very core message in those specific areas. We also hired a marketing person as well, that can help implement and execute in those different key areas. A lot is different from now when I first started. And when I first started, I was pounding the streets and canvassing. So after those years, people kind of get to know you. So majority of our business has come from referrals. About 90% of my business, is referrals. But we have a lot of, our marketing engine is insane. We have a lot of online marketing that goes on. I have 2 employees. All they do is make calls every day, 4 hours a day. They make phone calls. We have a lot of digital marketing that goes on as well. So anyone that joins our team, they get access to our marketing engine. We do tons of mail, phone calls, email marketing, and what has been very successful for us is just developing relationships with folks that we can service and help. I do believe that you have to bring some value in the process. So getting to know other professionals that are in the similar spaces we are in and seeing how we can collaborate and work together. And that actually has been one of when it comes to our clients, has been one of our challenges. Client comes and they want to sell their business. They want to sell like right away. I don't blame them. You want to, exit as soon as possible. But, there's 3 things you need to exit your business. You need a motivated seller. You need a marketplace that's looking to buy a business. You need a lot of activity in that space. and the business has to be ready for sale. And a lot of times the business is not ready for sale. Most business owners, they look at their business. You think of, I like to use the used car analogy, right? You want to sell the used car. If you vacuum it, you detail it, you might get a little bit more. You might need some paint job, get a little more, new tires and so on. Like staging a house almost. You have to get the business prepped and ready. So out of that concept, an idea came to me that I needed to create a company that I can put together a team of advisors that can service these business owners. So I started and founded a company called Eminae Network. So we have 40 advisors on that company that provide consulting and education to companies from startup to exit, how to grow their company, how to scale their company, how to sell their company. And, I'm all about education. I want to educate business owners, help them get their objectives met, and educate other advisors as well. I need to know a little bit about a lot of different things. I need to know a little bit about finance, legal, insurance, HR, IT, a whole bunch of stuff. And the more I learn, the more I can be of value and be a resource to our clients. So that's one thing that we have in our marketing. We have implemented, working with other advisors and I work with other brokers as well. So that's been part of our marketing process.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, look, we could probably go 3 hours, brother, because, like you've said, you've put in the time, the effort. It's really cool to see. And I think the Go for CEO community, is going to really enjoy this interview. The way that we end our interviews is talking about CEO, right? So client experience, engagement, and operational excellence. So probably take 30 seconds to a minute. And share with me kind of that value proposition, right? So when you think about client experience, what comes to mind as the heart of what you guys bring to the table?
So one of our philosophy is our core values that business is personal, right? There is a person behind that business. There's a person behind that corporation, right? So we want to bring that personal, that human touch, right? So when we engage with our clients, we're not speaking at them, they're not speaking at us. We are connecting. I really want to learn who they are, what they're about. Sometimes, majority of the times, our conversation is not even on business, it's on family. We're talking about troubles and challenges they have with their family, and their family can be employees, and partners, right? Talk about their partnership disputes and things that are going on in the business. That personal touch, really connecting and understanding them to meet their objectives. Like I mentioned earlier, we have created a client engagement manager. So that person is accountable for connecting with the clients and making sure that their needs are met. They're getting reports, they know where they're at in the stage of the process and so on. So that's one thing that's very unique to us. We also are team oriented. What that means is we collaborate internally, and every client has at least 2 advisors that work with them. So if one is out on vacation or one needs coverage, one is sick or whatever, there's always two advisors that work with them, plus the staff. So that's an area of excellence that we are striving to even surpass every month over month.
Man, it's great investments, and obviously what's making you guys soar to the top of the industry. So engagement, you kind of shared a little bit about that, and I think from the talent that you've been able to put together and the team that's growing and just beginning, what would you say is maybe an insight of why people, and it could be your team or even customers, but like, why do people engage with you guys?
So when you talk about engagement on the staff level, we have weekly meetings. Actually, sometimes it depends on, if it's a company or advisors, we have meeting twice a week, and some meetings are weekly and monthly meetings. So the staff is always engaged, what's going on with the company, always pouring into them value and helping them, in their business. From the client's perspective, so you cannot knock success and you can't knock a track record. So we have been doing this for 19 years. So we have a proven process that we execute time over time. And because of my involvement, not just me, so my partners as well, they're involved in their respective industries. We all have leadership positions in the industry. I get a lot of data. So one committee that I serve on is called the Market Pulse Committee with IBBA. and we send out surveys every quarter to get feedback from other intermediaries, investment bankers, and business brokers. How long you take to sell businesses, what are you selling, what's hot, what's not, what are some issues you're seeing or challenges you're seeing right now in the marketplace. So we bring all that data back. So that's pretty unique to us. I mean, other brokers have access to it, but we are actually implementing that in our process. We send out these reports to our other centers of influence and our clients. So not only get our data, they get our client data. So I would say what's unique about us, we have a track record. We have a proven process, and we bring that investment banking level of service, that world-class service, to the lower mid-market for not the same price. We're in a space that's fragmented, that needs that service. They want that high-level service, but they're not that large to afford that service. So we bring that to them at a price that they can afford that makes sense for the marketplace.
It's unique, man. That's pretty awesome. The last one is operational excellence. So, when you think about the things that you've already shared, you've got a system for recruitment, you've got a system for the back office, but give us a little bit about kind of what is that value add proposition of how you guys operate.
So when you talk about operational excellence, you talk about system and processes, and everyone knows where they're at in the process. And no matter who you work with in a company, you should get the same level of service and the same level of expectation from that particular advisor. If you go to a McDonald's in Idaho, you go to one in Seattle, Washington, you should get that same level of service. So we have a back-end process that's universal throughout the company. So every client, like I said, we have someone internally that does all the quality control, reviews our agreements before they go out, does all our evaluation work, does all of our SIMs. This is our confidential information memorandums. So every client gets the similar process. And I think for a business, you want to have that, you want to have that same consistency, throughout the company. So that's something, I'm not going to say it's perfect because we're always trying to improve. Just today I had a meeting with the staff, looking at our KPIs. So you want to track how many buyers came in for the month, how many of those buyers send in those non-disclosure agreements. Out of that, those buyers, how many of them reviewed SIMs, what percentage of those buyers made offers, and how long does it take to get from an offer to a sale, and so on. So when you can establish these metrics, you can look back at it a quarterly basis and then make improvements the next quarter to streamline the process and make it smoother. So when you talk about operational excellence, I think it's, you have to be adaptable as well to the market. But if you don't know your numbers, you can't make improvements. So you have to track this every week and every month, depending on how you set up your processes.
Adding speed, baby, to the game. All right. I love it. I love it.
Definitely.
Awesome, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much for being a part of the Go for CEO community. Really have appreciated. We're going to have to do a new one too for Eminae Network. We didn't get to touch too much on it, but I know that this is kind of like your biggest baby, and then obviously you're growing Eminae as well. And excited to have you in the next 6 to 12 months come back and share, different areas of the business. We hope to track you over the years and grow a community that is excited to find out, like, hey, where's Kyle and where's NYBB and what's Eminae Network doing? So any last words for our entrepreneurs, CEOs, founders that are really attracted to this Go for CEO community and what we're building?
So I love what you're doing here, and I love that you focus on operational excellence, and engagement and so on, because I get passionate about people. Right. I think people lose sight, they gain all the success and they forgot how they got there. The employees, the janitors, the customers, the vendors, all these people in the ecosystem would help you get where you're at. So most importantly, as a business owner, you want to make sure you hire right. Take your time hiring. If you need to consult with an HR consultant, so I want to help you vet and interview employees, you want to do that. When you hire them, you want to keep them, you want to retain them, you want to train them, right? You want to train them, make sure they know their roles, make sure they want, not only they can do the roles, that they want to do it, right? So you want to hire right, you want to train right, you want to be flexible as well. I think that's one of the biggest concerns that employees have, that the employees are flexible. And there was a study that came out that said one of the reasons why employees leave because they're not appreciated. So you want to empower your staff, give them some, some things to do that can stretch their minds and give, create some more confidence and empower them in their role. So I'll leave you at that, John.
Awesome. Awesome, brother. Well, hey, man, I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to the channel and your first time watching, you just got a treat listening to Kyle Griffith, and just the power and the strength that he shares. Subscribe to the channel because I didn't say that at the beginning. I am John. Subscribe to the channel, share the channel, share this interview. We'll have it on LinkedIn, we'll have it on YouTube and all the other great social media outlets. And hey, by the way, leave a comment for Kyle because I know he'll interact with this. And, if they want to get a hold of you, Kyle, what is the best way to get a hold of you and your group?
So you want to go to my company website, which is the NYBBgroup.com. That's THENYBBgroup.com. Or you can just Google my name, Kyle Griffith. It should populate somewhere there. Or you can go to my other company's website, which is Eminae Network, EMINAE Network.com. Or just Google Eminae. You should find me. LinkedIn is my home base. You can look me up on LinkedIn and just reach out, say you heard me on John's program, and let's connect, man. Let's build people's businesses, right, John? How's it going?
That's right.
What
John the Bomb, building others means business.
That's what this is all about, man.
Awesome, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much, and we look forward to having you back on the Go for CEO channel soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.